2.5 years ago, I was 50 kilograms. I was not that big. But today, I'm 78 kilograms and I'm roughly around 18% body fat. And I did this all naturally. To be honest, I made a lot of mistakes down the way. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, how I did it, what I did wrong, and what you should not do. And lastly, what I'd do if I had to do it again at 18. So, I had just turned 18, and to be honest, I didn't really know what I had to do. The main thing that I kind of thought about was, oh yeah, I need to get a workout split. That's the most important thing, although it was not. I researched for a few days, and I pretty much just chose push-pull legs, which I think is quite a common thing to kind of start on. It's a pretty good starter workout split, so I went with that. At that time, I thought that was like the key to getting big, like choosing your workout split. But I'm gonna be honest, it was not. It was far from the thing that you had to worry about. So let's get to where it all began, my first bulk. So at 18, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start bulking. And I did my first ever mistake, which was bulking at 3,000 calories. And as a person who was 50 kg and looked like this, I did not need to be eating 3,000 calories. Now, within this first 6 months, I went from 50 to 65 kg. Now, don't get me wrong, that sounds like an amazing number. You'd think, oh my god, that's so much muscle. But it wasn't. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I built muscle, but I also put on a lot of fat in the process. Like, there was easily a 50-50 split. Like, it was a lot of fat. So the key thing to take from the first ever bulk, I'm gonna tell you, is muscle takes a lot of time. And just because your weight goes up on a scale does not mean that it's all muscle. And most likely, if you're gaining more than a quarter of a kilogram per week, it's muscle, but it's also additional fat. So once I hit 65 kg, I kind of thought, okay, you know what, I'm looking a bit fluffy, a little bit fat. So I decided to go my first cut. However, this is where I made my second mistake, because I did not research how to do the cut properly. I didn't research that how much cardio I need to do, how much of a deficit I needed to be to not lose muscle. And in the end, I didn't only lose around like 5 or 6 kilograms. So it wasn't bad. Most of it was fat, and I actually did quite well. But I want to say 25% of what I lost was muscle, which is not ideal, especially when you're just starting out and you just gained all of that weight. So then I went back down to around 60 kilograms. Now, this is where I made my biggest mistake. After going down to 60 kilos, I thought, okay, cool. I gained a good amount of muscle doing that bulk. Didn't take me too long to cut it away. So let's do that again. Except, I bulked on 4,000 calories. And I'm gonna be honest, as a person who is 60 kilos and like 5'5", I had no business eating 4,000 calories, but I did. And in a span of a year, I went from 60 to 80 kilos. Now, did I build muscle? Yes, obviously. If you don't build muscle in that much of a surplus, then you're doing something wrong. Yes, I built a lot of muscle, but I also put on a lot of fat from being in a surplus. Now, I think what saved me is because I had work. I was also walking around a lot because, I was quite active. So I didn't put on as much fat as I probably would have if I wasn't walking around at all, if I wasn't active at all. But the honest take here is, bulking harder or dirty bulking doesn't mean that you'll gain more muscle. It just means that, yeah, you'll gain muscle, but you'll also gain fat on top of that, which is not ideal. Now we get to the end of my bulk, where I was at around 82 kilograms. And I kind of realized that I definitely took it a bit too far. Like, it wasn't a lean bulk by any means, it was a dirty bulk. And you can tell when a person has kind of gone too far, because my body fat percentage was way out of range. It was way too high. So instead of my first proper cut, this time I actually had the knowledge. I researched how to do it properly, and I kind of knew what to expect. And I went from 80 to 70 kilos, which, in 3 months, that's amazing. Losing that amount of fat is very good. Except I got an injury, and that sort of set me back a little bit. It meant that I wasn't able to train the center muscle groups that I wanted to train as much, and it means that I had a few lagging parts whilst I was cutting, and that didn't help because, you know, when you cut, you're in a deficit. If you don't work out a specific muscle, that muscle is going to waste away quicker than it would have if you were working it out. And unfortunately, that was my back and my biceps. Other than that, I did keep most of my muscle on every single thing. Now obviously, I lost a little bit of strength. That's sort of normal. That is kind of my fault at part, because I wasn't exactly consistent with my nutrition, and also the injury sort of played a part in that. But overall, it was my first successful cut. Now we're getting to here. After the cut, I went on a little bit of a maintenance phase to just sort of allow myself to get back into the routine of being able to work out properly. Once the maintenance phase was done, it was only like 2 or 3 months, I went on my bulk again, but this time I went on a lean bulk. So last time when I went on the dirty bulk, obviously within a year I went from 60 to 80 kilos, but there was definitely a bit of fat in there. However, this time I went on a lean bulk, and so far, still in the bulk right now, I'm around 79 kilos. And to be fair, 79 kg, 9 kilograms in a matter of 6 months or so is not too bad, especially on a lean bulk. It just means that I gained a substantial amount of muscle mass, but not as much fat, especially compared to how much I did back then. And I'm sitting around 18% body fat right now, which is much better than what it was before. So trust me, please do not dirty bulk, because I dirty bulked and I took it way too far. I was easily 25% body fat in that dirty bulk. Like, it was not a good place to be. Mentally also, it just did not help. What I would take from this video, if you've gone this far, is if I was to start all over again from 50 kilos, I would lean bulk. Take your time building muscle, because you can't speed up the process of building muscle. It's just not possible. So just enjoy the journey, and you will build muscle throughout it. In about 6 weeks or so, I'll be doing my second cut, and I'll be cutting to around like 12% body fat. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. I am actually gonna be using my first ever peptide, just kind of aid with the fat loss, and that one is gonna be erythritide. So if you guys want me to kind of make some videos about that, then I'm more than happy to add that. So to finish it off, I made mistakes, quite a few of them, but I was consistent, and that's what actually built the physique: consistency. Although I bulked way too hard and I may have cut way too hard a few times, I stayed consistent, and that's how I went from 50 to 78 kg in a matter of 2.5 years. So just know that if you're skinny right now, do not rush it, because muscle takes time. It doesn't take weeks, not months, it takes years. If you want me to document my my next cut, as I said, make sure to subscribe, and I'll show the full process, not just the highlights of how I went from now and how I'm gonna go to 12% body fat in a matter of 2 months. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see ya.